Welcome back to Whispers of the Night. I'm so grateful you're here, settling in for another soft, soothing bedtime escape. Tonight, I invite you to slow down, unclench your jaw, soften your shoulders, and let your breath fall into an easy, gentle rhythm. Before we begin, take just a moment to subscribe to the channel because each night, we wander into new dreamlike stories crafted to ease your mind and guide you into deep, peaceful sleep. So if you enjoy drifting into these quiet worlds, make sure you're subscribed and let the sound of my voice become a soft companion for your night. Let's step into tonight's story, The Scent That Unlocked Hidden Memories. Take a deep breath in and let it soften out of you like a stew. V arrived at the quiet edge of night, where the world slows down, where your thoughts become gentle, where rest begins to rise like a soft tide. Imagine yourself standing before a peaceful, moonlit forest. The air is cool, soothing, and carries the scent of pine and faint wildflowers. Every breath you take loosens something tired inside you, something heavy, something that doesn't belong in the softness of this moment. As you step forward, the leaves beneath your feet make no sound. The night welcomes you. The trees stand tall and protective, their branches forming a shelter that feels warm and familiar. Moonlight drifts through in silver ribbons, guiding you toward a small wooden cabin nestled between the trees. Inside, a single candle glows. Its flame is steady, soft breathing light into the room like a gentle heartbeat. You step closer, and as you do, the candle releases a delicate fragrance, wildflowers, rain-soaked wood, and a hint of something warm, something comforting. Let that scent wash through your mind. Allow it to dissolve any remaining tension in your shoulders, your jaw, your back, your hands. Every inhale draws in warmth. Every exhale lets go of the day. You sit beside the candle, feeling its calm glow settling into you. It flickers slowly, rhythmically, as if it's syncing with your breath. Your heartbeat steadies. Your thoughts begin to float like leaves on quiet water. Outside, a gentle breeze moves through the forest. The branches sway in slow motion, as if nature itself is trying not to disturb your rest. Feel the ground beneath you, steady, grounding. Feel the air around you, cool, peaceful. Feel the warmth at your side, soft, steady, like a quiet embrace. You are safe here. You are held. You are allowed to rest. The candle continues to glow, casting warm light across the cabin walls, and each flicker draws you deeper into comfort, deeper into stillness, deeper into the quiet place inside yourself where sleep begins. As you breathe, your mind softens, your eyelids grow heavier, your thoughts grow slower, like pages turning in a book that's almost finished. Let yourself drift now into the whispering forest, into the warm glow of the candle, into the deep, welcoming peace that waits just beyond. WAKEFULNESS. Tonight, your dreams will be gentle. Tonight, your rest will be deep. Tonight, you are exactly where you need to be. the scent that unlocked hidden memories. The candle with no name. Jenna had always found comfort in the quiet hum of her little workshop, nestled in the corner of a narrow cobblestone street in the old part of town. The space was small, but it was hers, cluttered with glass jars of dried herbs, bottles of essential oils, and stacks of hand-cut wax sheets in every imaginable shade. The late afternoon sun filtered in through a small, dust-speckled window, scattering golden rays over the worn wooden counter. Shadows stretched across the room, as if the walls themselves had settled into the slow rhythm of her work. Here, surrounded by the faint scent of beeswax and lavender, Jenna felt like she belonged to a world that didn't exist anywhere else but in the gentle flicker of candlelight she created. Tonight, the workshop was silent, except for the occasional scrape of a wooden spoon against a ceramic bowl. Jenna's fingers were sticky with melted wax, and a faint sheen of sweat glimmered on her forehead from the warmth of the small stove she used to melt her mixtures. She leaned over her workbench, carefully pouring amber-colored wax into a glass. Mold, her brow furrowed with the precision that had always defined her craft. Candle making was more than a job for Jenna. It was a language of her own creation, a way to speak without words, to channel the intangible feelings that hovered at the edges of her mind. Every scent she blended told a story, and every flickering flame she lit carried a piece of herself into the world. Tonight's experiment was different. Jenna had been collecting essential oils for months, slowly building a library of scent: cedarwood, rose, vanilla, sandalwood, lavender, and 100 other aromas that she could barely name without consulting her small, dog-eared notebook. But tonight, she was not following a recipe. Tonight, she let her intuition guide her. Her hands moved with quiet deliberation, picking and choosing drops of oils that called to her in ways she couldn't explain. A splash of honeysuckle, a drop of smoke-scented resin, a hint of sun-warmed moss, each note mingling with the other. An invisible symphony of fragrance as the last drops of wax solidified. Jenna leaned back and inhaled, expecting only the familiar comfort of her own handiwork. But the moment the scent reached her nose, something strange and unfamiliar happened. It was as if the air around her had thickened, carrying with it a memory she did not know was hers. For a brief instant, she saw it not with her eyes, but with a clarity that felt almost physical. A narrow path winding through a forest, golden leaves fluttering down like sparks. Jenna's heart thudded violently in her chest, and her breath caught. The memory, or whatever it was, vanished as quickly as it had appeared, leaving her standing frozen, a thin wisp of candle smoke curling between her fingers. "What was that?" she whispered, voice trembling, almost afraid to disturb the spell. She shook her head, as if shaking could clear the phantom image from her mind. Candle making had always been a meditative practice for her, a ritual she could control. But tonight's creation had slipped past her control. It was no longer just wax and fragrance, it was something else, something alive. The candle sat on the workbench, unassuming, in a clear glass mold with no label. Jenna picked it up carefully, turning it in her hands. She had no name for it yet. It had arrived fully formed, yet somehow strange, as though it belonged to a world she could not place. Her fingers lingered on the smooth surface, and she felt a subtle warmth, almost like it recognized her. or perhaps that she recognized it. She placed it gently on a shelf with the other candles, but the memory refused to leave her. Her mind swirled with questions. Memories from her childhood were often hazy, colored by fragments of images and smells, stories told by her parents, or dreams that felt real enough to be false. Yet this was different. It had a clarity, a vividness, that made her stomach tighten. She wiped her hands on a towel and stepped back from the workbench, pacing the small room. Her eyes roamed over the jars and bottles, trying to make sense of the inexplicable image. She couldn't shake the laughter of the child, the rustling leaves, or the sense of sunlight filtering through the forest canopy. Each detail was painfully precise, the smell of damp earth mixed with the faint sweetness of wildflowers. The way the shadows played across the path, even the faint metallic tang of something she could not place. It was not merely a memory, Jenna realized with a shiver. It was a moment frozen outside of time, and somehow she had conjured it herself. Jenna leaned against the counter, her palms pressing against the smooth wood. She felt a tremor in her chest, part fear, part awe. Could a scent really unlock a memory she didn't even know existed? Candle making was her craft, her art, but she had never encountered anything like this. She tried to rationalize it. Perhaps she had smelled something similar in her childhood, something lodged deep in her subconscious. Her mind raced through her earliest memories, the smell of her mother baking bread, the earthy scent of rain on the garden soil, the faint perfume of wildflowers that grew near the old cabin her family used to visit during summer vacations. None of these were the candle's scent, and yet it felt intimately familiar, like a key turning in a lock she hadn't realized existed. Jenna poured herself a glass of water, her hands still trembling slightly. She sat in the corner of the workshop, watching the candle as if it were a living creature, waiting for it to reveal its secrets. The room had grown dim as the sun sank lower, and the only light came from the warm glow of the lamp on the workbench. Shadows danced along the walls, elongating her movements in strange, ghostly ways. She tried to push the memory from her mind, tried to focus on something mundane, reordering her jars, cleaning the counters, but every attempt was futile. The scent lingered, invisible yet tangible, teasing her, coaxing her to return to it. As evening deepened into night, Jenna's curiosity overcame her apprehension. She carefully removed the candle from its mold and lit the wick. The flame flickered, casting golden light across her face, and she inhaled gently, bracing herself. Almost immediately, the images returned stronger, this time more insistent. She saw the forest path again, this time more clearly. She could hear the crunch of leaves beneath small, hurried feet, the soft snap of twigs, the joyous call of the child. Jenna's breath caught in her throat. She felt the air grow heavy with memory, as if the scent had pulled the past into the room with her. The golden light of the flame illuminated a small detail she had missed before, a delicate bracelet on the child's wrist, worn and faded, catching the sunlight like a tiny prism. Her heart skipped a beat. The memory began to expand. Jenna saw the forest stretch endlessly, sunbeams cutting through the canopy, the faint shimmer of a river in the distance. She smelled the mossy scent of trees, the sweetness of unknown flowers, the crisp freshness of wind moving through the leaves. It was intoxicating, almost overwhelming. Her eyes filled with tears she didn't understand, tears of longing and confusion. She had never consciously visited this place, never worn this bracelet, never laughed in the way the child laughed, but somehow it was hers. The feeling was as real as the flame before her, more real than anything she had felt in years. Jenna staggered back, extinguishing the candle abruptly. Smoke curled into the air, carrying fragments of the memory with it. She sank into a chair, pressing her face into her hands. Her mind was a whirlwind of emotion, wonder, fear, and an almost unbearable sense of nostalgia. What had she just experienced? How could a scent create such vivid images? Candle making had always been a way to preserve beauty and evoke calm, but this was something else entirely. She felt a strange mixture of exhilaration and dread. The candle was no longer a simple object of craft. It had become a vessel, a doorway to a part of her mind she had never explored. After a long moment, Jenna lifted her head, her fingers tracing the rim of the glass where the candle had sat. She felt a quiet determination settling over her, soft but insistent. She could not ignore what had happened. This candle, this scent, had unlocked something deeply buried within hers, something that demanded attention. She carefully labeled it unknown in her notebook, though she knew no name could do it justice. The label felt both appropriate and insufficient, a placeholder for a mystery she was only beginning to understand. Jenna spent the rest of the night pacing the workshop, occasionally returning to the candle, inhaling cautiously, and recording her sensations in meticulous detail. Each inhalation brought flashes of the forest path, the child's laughter, and the shimmer of sunlight through the leaves. The memories were fragmentary, like pieces of a puzzle she did not yet have the wisdom to assemble. Yet she could not stop herself. There was a pull, subtle but insistent, drawing her toward the scent again and again. It was both a lure and a challenge, promising answers she did not yet know how to seek. By the time the first hints of dawn crept through the dusty window, Jenna was exhausted but awake in a way she hadn't been for years. She stood in the quiet light of morning, the candle burning faintly in the corner, and realized something she could not yet name. Her world had shifted. Somewhere within the delicate balance of wax, flame, and fragrance, a hidden door had opened. And though she did not yet understand what lay beyond, she knew she would follow the path, no matter how strange or unfamiliar, until she had uncovered the truths it held. For the first time in years, Jenna felt a spark of something she had thought lost forever, connection to a past she could not fully remember, and a curiosity that would not be denied. Echoes from childhood. The days following, Jenna's encounter with the mysterious candle blurred together in a haze of fascination and unease. She returned to her workshop each morning with a quiet urgency, the unknown candle sitting at the center of her workbench like a silent sentinel. Its presence had become impossible to ignore, and every time she passed it, a subtle tingle ran along her skin, as if it were calling her by name. Jenna's hands itched to light the wick, to inhale the fragrance again, even though a part of her feared what might happen if she did. She had glimpsed something she could not yet define, an echo of a past long buried, waiting patiently for her to acknowledge it. On the first day after the discovery, Jenna tried to ignore the candle, to focus on other tasks. She sorted her jars of herbs and oils, swept the floor, and checked her stock for the day. Yet her mind kept drifting back to the strange vision. The scent lingered in the air, even without the flame, a faint whisper that seemed to brush against her consciousness. She found herself remembering fragments of her childhood she had not thought about in years. The feel of rough wooden floors beneath her feet, the smell of sun-warmed linen, the soft hum of her mother's voice in the kitchen. None of these memories matched the forest she had seen, yet they carried a similar weight, a sense of familiarity she could not ignore. By the second day, Jenna's curiosity had overcome her fear. She lit the candle again, the flame dancing and reflecting in her wide, gray-blue eyes. The room filled with the scent, a mixture of wildflowers, warm moss, and something indefinably smoky on. Immediately, the images returned. This time, they were stronger, more detailed, almost tangible. She saw the narrow forest path again, the sunlight slicing through the canopy in golden rays. But now, there was more. She saw a small wooden cabin nestled in a clearing, its windows catching the light like little mirrors. She saw a child's hands, small and delicate, playing with the edge of a bracelet. She heard the soft, almost musical voice of someone humming, a tune that was achingly familiar, though she could not place it. Jenna's breath caught, and she pressed a hand to her chest, feeling the rapid beat of her heart each time she inhaled. The scent, new fragments emerged. She saw a stream winding lazily through the forest, its water sparkling in the dappled sunlight. She smelled the faint tang of moss and the sweetness of blossoms she did not recognize. She could feel the warmth of the sun on her skin and hear the rustle of leaves as though she were walking through the scene herself. The child's laughter echoed through her mind again, and a strange ache of longing settled in her chest. Jenna realized that these memories were not hers in the usual sense. They were shadows of something lost, pieces of a past she had been unable or unwilling to remember. Yet they felt as though they belonged to her completely. The sensation was intoxicating and terrifying in equal measure. Jenna began to notice subtle changes in her behavior. She became quieter around friends and family, speaking less and listening more, as though she were carrying an invisible weight. Her best friend, Mara, noticed immediately. "Jenna, you've been so distant lately," Mara said one afternoon as they sat in a small cafe near the workshop. The warm aroma of brewed coffee filled the air, but Jenna barely registered it. Her mind was still wrapped around the candle, the forest, and the glimpses of the child she did not recognize. "I'm fine," Jenna said automatically, forcing a smile. She wanted to confide in Mara, to explain the visions and the memories that had resurfaced, but the words felt impossible. How could she describe something so strange and intimate? How could she explain that a simple scent had unlocked fragments of a past that had been buried so deeply she had not even known it existed? She sipped her coffee, trying to steady her trembling hands, and forced herself to talk about mundane things, the shop, her upcoming orders, the weather. Yet every word felt hollow. The forest lingered at the edges of her mind, a soft, insistent pull that would not be ignored. That night, back in her workshop, Jenna succumbed again. She lit the candle, the flame flickering gently, in the dim light. This time, the memories came in waves, more vivid than before. She saw herself as a child, standing barefoot on the forest path. Sunlight dappled across her hair. She reached out instinctively to touch a low-hanging branch, her small hands brushing against the rough bark. She saw the wooden cabin in the clearing again, its windows glowing faintly with the light of a fire inside. She heard the hum again, soft and comforting, and the laughter of the child, ringing clear and pure. Her heart swelled with an emotion she could not name, a combination of joy, sadness, and longing, all intertwined in a way that left her breathless. Jenna began to notice patterns in the memories, small details that repeated each time she inhaled. The scent, the bracelet on the child's wrist always appeared, worn and faded, catching the light in the same way. The humming voice always accompanied a specific action, preparing something in the cabin, folding a piece of cloth, or tending to a small fire. The forest path always curved the same way, the sunlight always falling through the same gaps in the trees. These consistencies gave her a sense of structure amidst the chaos of the memories, as though the past was guiding her, showing her what she needed to see. She spent hours recording every detail in her notebook, sketches of the cabin, notes about the colors of the leaves, the texture of the moss, the sound of laughter and hums. Each observation brought her closer to understanding the significance of what she was experiencing. The candle had become more than a creation. It was a bridge, a connection to something she had lost long ago. She realized that she had been holding fragments of these memories all her life, tucked away in corners of her mind, waiting for the right key to unlock them. The scent had provided that key, and now she could not turn back. The more she explored, the more she felt compelled to seek out the source of the memories. The forest, the cabin, the child, these were not random images. They were a map, a guide leading her somewhere she needed to go. Jenna felt a quiet resolve growing within her. She would follow these echoes, step by step, no matter how strange or unsettling the journey might be. Something deep inside her whispered that the answers she sought were not just about understanding the past. They were about reclaiming a part of herself that had been lost for too long. As the days passed, Jenna's obsession with the candle deepened. She experimented with slight variations in scent, adding tiny amounts of other oils, hoping to uncover more fragments or clarify what she had already seen. Each trial brought new flashes of memory, sometimes joyous, sometimes tinged with an unplaceable sorrow. The candle's flame became a focal point in her life, a small, steady light illuminating the shadows of her mind. She found herself thinking less about the practical aspects of her work orders, schedules, sales, and more about the memories, the sensations, and the longing they evoked. Her workshop became a sanctuary, a private world where past and present intertwined in ways she could barely comprehend. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and painted the sky in shades of deep orange and violet, Jenna felt the memories reach a new intensity. The forest path stretched out endlessly, the light more vibrant, the sounds more distinct. She could smell the warmth of sunlit moss, the sharp tang of pine, and the faint sweetness of flowers she could not name. The child's laughter rang out, clearly, mingling with the gentle hum of the woman's voice. Jenna's chest tightened, and tears sprang to her eyes. She realized that these echoes from childhood were not just memories, they were pieces of her soul, fragments of a life she had not been allowed to remember. The candle had not only awakened these memories, it had awakened her as she sat in the glow of the flame. Jenna made a silent promise to herself. She would follow these echoes wherever they led, even if the path was uncertain or frightening. The candle had given her a gift, a connection to a past she had long forgotten, and she would honor it. She would uncover the truth, piece by piece, and in doing so, she would reclaim the lost parts of herself. With a deep breath, she inhaled the fragrance one last time for the night, allowing the memories to wash over her, comforting and strange in their intensity. And for the first time in years, Jenna felt a sense of purpose, a quiet determination to seek out the forest, the cabin, and the child, and to finally understand the life that had been waiting for her all along. The house beyond the hills. The morning air was crisp, carrying with it the faint temps of dew-soaked earth. Jenna stood at the edge of the town, her hands wrapped tightly around the steering wheel of her small car, staring at the winding road ahead. She had spent the night poring over her notebook, tracing the fragments of memories that the candle had revealed, trying to piece together the path that led to the cabin. Every sketch, every note about the sunlight, the curve of the forest path, and the shimmer of the river had drawn her here. She felt an inexplicable pull, a force that tugged at her chest and urged her forward. The scent of the candle lingered faintly in her coat pocket, a reminder of the world she had glimpsed and the truth that awaited her. The town she drove through seemed ordinary at first glance. Narrow streets lined with stone cottages, small shops with faded signs, and the occasional clatter of a bicycle chain on cobblestones. Yet, as she drove farther, a strange sense of familiarity washed over her. She did not remember ever being here consciously, yet every corner, every tree-lined street seemed to echo a memory she could almost grasp but never quite touch. It was as if the town existed, both in the present and in some hidden past, a place out of time that had been waiting for her to return. Jenna's journey took her out of the town and into rolling hills that stretched endlessly, their slopes dotted with wildflowers and the occasional cluster of trees. The road narrowed, winding through a landscape that felt both alien and intimate. With each turn, her heartbeat quickened. She knew she was close to something important, something she had glimpsed in her visions, but could not yet fully understand. The air smelled of pine and damp earth, the same fragrance she had inhaled from the candle, and it made her chest ache with anticipation. It was a scent that carried memories she could not yet name, a key to the past she had only begun to uncover. After what felt like hours of driving, Jenna spotted it, a cabin nestled in a small clearing, almost hidden by the embrace of surrounding trees. Its wooden walls were weathered by time, gray and rough, and the windows were dark and dusty. Yet, despite its abandonment, the cabin exuded a warmth that resonated deep within her. She recognized it immediately, the same structure she had seen in the candle-induced visions, the same windows catching sunlight in a way that mirrored the golden light in her memory. Her breath caught, and she felt a shiver run down her spine. She had found it. She had found the house that had haunted her dreams, the source of the echoes that had guided her journey. Jenna parked at the edge of the clearing and stepped out of the car, the gravel crunching beneath her shoes. She approached the cabin slowly, taking in every detail: the uneven planks of the wooden walls, the ivy creeping up the side of the building, the faint scent of moss and earth that clung to the air around it. Each element confirmed what her heart already knew was the place her memories had been trying to lead her to. She reached out, her fingers brushing against the rough wood, and felt a connection she could not explain. It was as if the cabin itself recognized her, welcoming her back to a home she had never truly known. The door creaked softly as Jenna pushed it open, the sound echoing through the empty space like a sigh from the past. Inside, dust motes floated in the streams of sunlight that filtered through the windows, casting a golden glow on the wooden floorboards. The cabin smelled faintly of pine, wood smoke, and something sweet and floral wildflowers, she realized. The same scent that had emanated from the candle. Every detail aligned with the visions she had experienced. Every fragment of memory finding its place in the tangible world before her. She stepped inside cautiously, her eyes sweeping over the room, absorbing the atmosphere with reverence and awe. The interior was simple and rustic, a testament to a life lived in quiet harmony with nature. A small hearth dominated one wall, its stones blackened from long extinguished fires. Wooden shelves lined another wall, holding remnants of dishes, jars, and tools, all coated in a thin layer of dust. In the corner, a small table bore the faint imprint of hands that had long since vanished, the wood polished smooth by years of use. Jenna's heart ached with recognition and longing. These were the traces of a life she had glimpsed only in fragments, now fully revealed to her senses. Her gaze fell on a narrow staircase leading to a loft, and she felt an instinctive pull upward. Every step she took echoed softly, the wood creaking beneath her weight. In the loft, she discovered a small window overlooking the clearing, sunlight streaming in and illuminating the space in golden light. The air smelled faintly of the forest outside, mingling with the lingering aroma of the cabin itself. She could almost hear the child's laughter again, soft and joyful, and she realized with a start that the echoes from the candle were guiding her, leading her through each step of the cabin as if it were alive and aware of her presence. In the corner of the loft, Jenna noticed a small drawer, partially hidden beneath a worn blanket. Something about it caught her attention, the way it seemed slightly out of place, as if it had been waiting for her to discover it. She knelt before it, her fingers trembling as she traced the outline of the drawer. It resisted her touch at first, then gave way with a gentle push, revealing a small wooden box inside. Her breath caught as she lifted it, feeling the weight of its contents in her hands. The air seemed to hum with anticipation, the cabin itself holding its breath as she opened the box. Inside, Jenna found a collection of items that made her heart ache with recognition. A faded bracelet lay atop a bundle of papers, delicate and worn, catching the sunlight like a tiny prism. Her fingers brushed over it instinctively, tracing the familiar shape. She unfolded the papers, revealing pages filled with neat handwriting, the ink slightly faded but still legible. It was a journal, and as she read the words, her breath caught in her throat. They were entries written by her mother, recounting moments of love, care and sorrow. Details of a family tragedy that Jenna had been too young to remember. Each page resonated with the fragments she had seen in her memories, connecting the echoes from the candle to the life she had once lived. Jenna sank to the floor, the box in her lap, tears streaming down her face. The memories, the candle, the cabin, they were all pieces of a puzzle she had never realized existed. The fragrance of wildflowers, the warmth of sunlight, the laughter of a child, and the gentle hum of a mother's voice all converged in this moment, fully revealed and undeniably real. She felt a mixture of grief and relief, the ache of loss tempered by the comfort of recognition. For the first time, she understood the significance of the candle, the reason it had unlocked memories she had long forgotten. It was a bridge, a connection to the past that had been waiting for her to return. The storm of emotions subsided gradually, leaving Jenna with a quiet, profound sense of clarity. She understood now that the echoes from her childhood were not random or coincidental. They were guiding her, leading her to the cabin, to the box, to the truth she had been seeking without even knowing it. She pressed the bracelet to her chest, inhaling deeply, and felt a warmth spread through her, a reassurance that she was exactly where she needed to be. The cabin, with its quiet presence and hidden treasures, had become a sanctuary, a place where past and present converged in a way that was both tangible and transcendent. As the sun began to dip toward the horizon, casting long shadows across the loft, Jenna knew that her journey was far from over. The cabin had revealed its secrets, but it also hinted at deeper truths waiting to be uncovered. There were still fragments of memory she had not yet accessed, stories she had not yet heard, and emotions she had not yet fully felt. The candle, the cabin, and the journal were guides, leading her toward a complete understanding of her past. A past that was both painful and beautiful, lost and now found. Jenna rose to her feet, holding the box carefully, and stepped back onto the forest path she had glimpsed in her visions. The air was cool against her skin, the scent of wildflowers and pine mingling in the breeze. She felt a quiet determination settle over her, a resolve to continue following the echoes wherever they led. The cabin had shown her the doorway, the candle had provided the key, and now it was her turn to walk through it, to explore the life that awaited her, and to reclaim the memories that had long been hidden. With a final glance at the cabin, Jenna breathed in the familiar, intoxicating scent one last time before closing the door behind her. The path stretched out ahead, winding through the hills, leading her into the unknown yet profoundly familiar. And as she walked, the echoes of her childhood, the laughter, the hum, the warmth of sunlight on her skin accompanied her, guiding her steps and promising that the journey ahead would reveal not only the past, but the woman she had become, and the life she was destined to embrace. The locked drawer, Jenna could still feel the pulse of her discovery reverberating in her chest as she returned to the cabin the following day. The air was crisp, carrying the faint, earthy scent of moss and pine, and sunlight streamed in through the trees, dappling the path ahead with shifting patches of gold. Each step felt familiar, yet unfamiliar, like walking in a dream she had only half remembered. Her fingers absent-mindedly brushed over the small wooden box in her bag, the bracelet tucked inside. The journal carefully folded beneath it had read and reread the pages countless times since her first discovery, tracing her mother's handwriting with both reverence and curiosity, yet the questions gnawing at her heart remained. There was more here. She could feel it. She had been guided this far by memories unlocked through scent. Now it seemed that the cabin held the next piece of the puzzle. Inside, the cabin was quiet, save for the gentle creak of the wooden floor. Beneath her feet, the dust hung lazily in the sunbeams, settling in swirls as she moved through the space. She placed the wooden box on the table near the window, the sunlight catching the worn edges of the bracelet and the faded ink of the journal pages. She inhaled the air, trying to trace the faint hints of scent lingering in the cabin, the sweetness of wildflowers, the faint smokiness of long-extinguished fires, and something else, subtle but undeniable, a trace of old wood mixed with lavender. The smell carried with it a strange sensation, a warmth in her chest that tugged at her memory, urging her onward. It was then that her eyes fell on the small drawer in the corner of the room. The drawer had always been there, partially hidden beneath a faded blanket, yet Jenna had never noticed it with such intensity before. Now it seemed to call to her, insistent yet patient. Her fingers brushed over the smooth wood, tracing the faint carved patterns that decorated its surface. She pressed lightly, pushing and pulling, but it would not open. Her curiosity ignited, mingling with a strange anticipation she could not explain. She leaned closer, her breath shallow, as though the air around the drawer were charged with secrets waiting to be revealed. And then, instinctively, she remembered something, the way the candle scent had guided her through memories in the past. Perhaps this drawer, too, required a key of memory, a touch informed by the past rather than the present. She closed her eyes and breathed deeply, inhaling the faint trace of the candle still clinging to her coat. The memory came to her, not fully formed, but as a whisper of motion and touch. She remembered a small hand pushing a similar drawer long ago, the subtle angle, the gentle pressure. Her pulse quickened, and with deliberate care, she mimicked the movement. The wood yielded under her touch with a soft click, and the drawer slid open, revealing a small hidden compartment. Jenna's eyes widened, her fingers trembling as she reached inside. The contents were modest, yet they carried immense significance. A small wooden box lay within, no larger than the palm of her hand, its surface worn smooth by time. She lifted it carefully, feeling the weight of its presence, as if it carried not just objects, but the essence of the life it had protected. Alongside it was a bundle of papers, bound together by a frayed ribbon, and atop them lay the bracelet she had glimpsed in the memories, the one that had appeared in the visions triggered by the candle. Jenna's breath caught in her throat. This was the same bracelet, delicate and worn, catching the light in a familiar way. She held it in her hands, the smooth edges pressing against her fingers, and felt a surge of recognition so strong that her chest tightened with emotion. She opened the box carefully, revealing its contents. Inside lay small trinkets and keepsakes, each carrying a weight of memory and meaning. A locket, tarnished with age, but still glinting faintly in the sunlight, rested beside a few handwritten notes and dried flowers. Jenna traced her fingers over each object, feeling a connection that was almost tangible. Each item resonated with the fragments she had seen in the candle-induced memories: the wooden cabin, the forest path, the laughter of a child. As though the drawer had preserved not only physical objects, but also echoes of the life that had unfolded here, waiting for her to rediscover them. With trembling hands, Jenna unfolded the bundle of papers. The journal entries were in her mother's, handwriting neat and deliberate, the ink slightly faded but still legible. As she read, a wave of emotion swept over her. The pages recounted moments of care and sorrow, snippets of everyday life, and hints of a tragedy that Jenna had been too young to remember. Her mother wrote of tending the cabin, of walks along the forest path, of the bracelet and the child who had worn it. Every word connected seamlessly with the memories Jenna had glimpsed through the candle: the forest, the cabin, the laughter, the hum of a mother's voice. The fragmented visions she had experienced were not illusions. They were pieces of a real life, now revealed through the objects and writing preserved in this small hidden drawer. Jenna sank to the floor, cradling the bracelet and journal in her lap. Tears streamed down her cheeks, unbidden yet cathartic. As she absorbed the weight of what she had uncovered, the memories, once elusive and fragmented, now had context and form. She understood the significance of the candle, the cabin, and the drawer. They were all connected, threads of a tapestry she had only begun to unravel. Each item, each word, each scent was a bridge between her present self and the childhood she had unknowingly left behind. The drawer had kept these truths safe, waiting for the moment she was ready to receive them. She spent hours in the cabin that day, exploring every corner, handling every object with reverence, and rereading the journal entries repeatedly. Each discovery deepened her understanding of the past, each fragment of memory more vivid and resonant than the last. The bracelet, now in her possession, was no longer just a trinket. It was a symbol of continuity, a tangible link between who she had been and who she had become. The drawer, once locked, had opened not only to reveal physical objects, but to unlock the emotional truths she had carried unknowingly for years. As the sun dipped low, casting long shadows across the wooden floor, Jenna felt a quiet resolve settle over her. She knew that the journey was far from over. The drawer had provided answers, yes, but it had also raised new questions. What had happened to the rest of her family? Why had these memories been suppressed, hidden behind the delicate veil of time? And what other fragments of her past were waiting to be discovered? The cabin, the candle, the drawer, they had revealed a path, and Jenna was determined to follow it, no matter how difficult or unsettling the road ahead might be. Finally, she placed the bracelet on her wrist and held the journal close to her heart. The scent of the cabin, mingled with the faint trace of her candle, enveloped her, comforting and grounding her at once. She breathed deeply, letting the memories wash over her, both painful and beautiful, and felt a sense of purpose crystallize within her. The past was no longer lost, no longer unreachable. It was here, tangible and real, waiting for her to engage with it fully. And Jenna knew, with an unwavering certainty, that she would continue her journey, following the echoes of her childhood, uncovering the truths hidden in the shadows, and reclaiming the life that had been waiting for her all along. The Truth in the Rain. The day had begun as any other. Overcast skies casting a soft, diffused light across the hills and forest paths surrounding the cabin. Jenna had returned early, drawn by a restless insistence she could no longer ignore. The air smelled faintly of wet earth, mingling with the lingering fragrance of the wildflowers she had glimpsed in the candle's memory. She carried the bracelet and journal carefully, a sense of both dread and anticipation thrumming in her chest. Today, she felt she would uncover truths deeper and more profound than she had ever imagined. The fragments of memory that had guided her this far had converged at this point, urging her onward. As she approached the cabin, a light drizzle began to fall, the rain misting the forest and the path, adding an ethereal quality to the familiar landscape. The scent of wet pine and moss mingled with the wildflower fragrance, intensifying the sensations that had haunted her since her first encounter with the candle. Jenna inhaled deeply, the damp air heavy with nostalgia and something she could not yet name, loss, perhaps, or the faint echoes of love and protection she had never fully recognized as her own. The cabin loomed before her, unchanged and steadfast, a silent witness to the lives that had unfolded within and around it. Inside, the cabin smelled of rain-damp wood, earth, and the faint residue of long-extinguished fires. Jenna set her bag down and opened the journal, her fingers tracing the familiar handwriting, each line resonating with the fragments of memory she had already begun to reconstruct. The entries she had discovered in the locked drawer hinted at a deeper story, one she had been only partially prepared to understand. They spoke of care, tenderness, and an unspoken sorrow that lingered like a shadow over her earliest years. But now, as the rain tapped gently against the roof and the windows, Jenna felt the emotions embedded in those words more acutely than ever. She realized that the candle's scent had not merely unlocked memories, it had been guiding her toward an understanding she was finally ready to receive. The wind picked up outside, rustling the branches of the surrounding trees. A flash of lightning illuminated the cabin briefly, followed by the distant rumble of thunder. Jenna could feel the storm building, a mirror of the storm of emotions she carried within her. She opened the journal to the final pages she had not yet read. Her mother's words were more personal here, filled with a mixture of love, grief, and explanation. Jenna's eyes scanned the pages, tracing the sentences as her heart began to race. Each word seemed to pull her deeper into a past she had only glimpsed in fragments, now converging into a coherent, almost tangible narrative. Her mother had written of the wildflowers that grew abundantly around the cabin, describing their fragrance and the way it had always filled their home. She wrote of teaching Jenna as a small child to recognize the scents, to associate them with comfort, safety, and joy. But then the journal took a somber turn. Her mother recounted an accident, a moment when Jenna had been too young to fully comprehend what had occurred. The entry described how the incident had caused her memories of that time to become fragmented, suppressed by the mind to protect her. The candle's scent, derived from the same wildflowers her mother had cherished, had acted as a bridge, coaxing those hidden memories back into awareness. Jenna's breath caught in her throat. She felt tears welling in her eyes as the fragmented images she had seen in the candle came together in a painful, beautiful clarity. She saw the forest path stretching endlessly, the sunlight dancing on the leaves, the small wooden cabin, and herself, a child running barefoot, laughter spilling from her lips. She saw her mother bending over a small fire, humming softly, tending to the simple tasks of life with care and patience. And she understood for the first time why these memories had been inaccessible for so long, because they had been too raw, too overwhelming, too filled with a mixture of joy and sorrow that her young mind could not process. The rain outside intensified, tapping against the windows in a rhythmic pattern that mirrored the rapid beating of her heart. Jenna rose and moved to the small window, pressing her hands against the cool glass. The droplets blurred the forest beyond, creating an impressionistic wash of green, gold, and gray. She inhaled deeply, the scent of rain mixing with the lingering fragrance of the candle still present on her coat. The connection between the past and present felt almost sacred, as if the universe itself had conspired to lead her to this moment of revelation. The storm, the cabin, the journal, the bracelet, and the candle's scent, they were all converging to guide her toward a complete understanding of herself and her past. Jenna's fingers traced the bracelet she wore on her wrist. It was more than a piece of jewelry. It was a symbol of continuity, a tangible link to the child she had been and the woman she had become. She remembered the flashes of memory, the laughter, the hum, the warmth of sunlight, and now she could place them within the context of her mother's life and love. The candle had acted as a key, but it was the storm, the cabin, and the journal that had unlocked the full truth. Jenna felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude, mixed with a tender sorrow for the years lost to forgetfulness. She sat down at the small wooden table, the journal open before her, and allowed herself to immerse fully in the memories it evoked. Each sentence brought with it a sensory echo: the smell of wildflowers, the warmth of sunlight on her skin, the gentle hum of her mother's voice. She could feel the damp earth beneath her bare feet in the vision, the soft brush of leaves against her hands, and the faint chill of the forest air. The storm outside seemed to mirror the intensity of the emotions flooding through her. Each drop of rain against the cabin, a punctuation to the story unfolding within her mind. As she read further, Jenna discovered details she had never imagined. Her mother wrote of the small joys and simple routines that had filled their days, of the care taken to create a safe and nurturing environment despite the hardships they faced. She wrote of love and resilience, of moments of quiet beauty that had shaped Jenna's early years in ways she had only begun to perceive. The fragmented memories, once isolated and puzzling, now formed a coherent tapestry of experience, revealing a past rich with connection, love, and the unspoken sorrow of separation and accident. Jenna leaned back, closing her eyes as the words and images washed over her. The storm outside intensified, wind howling through the trees, rain lashing against the windows. Yet, inside the cabin, she felt a profound sense of peace. The fear and confusion that had accompanied her memories for so long had transformed into understanding and clarity. She realized that the candle, the cabin, the journal, and even the rain were all part of the same narrativa network of sensory cues, designed to guide her back to the life she had unknowingly abandoned. The scent that had unlocked her memories was not simply a trigger. It was a bridge, a lifeline, connecting her to the love and care that had always surrounded her. With renewed determination, Jenna stepped outside into the rain, letting the droplets soak through her hair and clothes. She breathed deeply, the scent of wet earth, pine, and wildflowers mingling with the perfume of memory and truth. The forest path stretched out before her, familiar yet transformed by the storm. Every leaf and branch shimmering with moisture. She walked slowly, deliberately, each step grounding her in the present while connecting her to the past. The echoes of childhood laughter, the hum of her mother's voice, the warmth of sunlight on her skin, they all accompanied her, guiding her along the winding path. As she reached the small clearing where the cabin sat, Jenna paused and looked up at the sky, now dark with rain clouds. Lightning flashed across the horizon, illuminating the forest in stark white brilliance, and the thunder rolled through the hills like a distant drum. She felt the truth settle within her, a quiet certainty that the fragments of memory she had glimpsed and the details she had uncovered were all part of a coherent story of love, loss, resilience, and rediscovery. The storm, in all its intensity, seemed to cleanse the world around her, washing away the lingering doubts and fears that had haunted her journey. Jenna returned to the cabin, drenched but invigorated, her hands clutching the journal and bracelet as she stepped inside. She lit a small fire in the hearth, the warmth spreading through the room, mingling with the faint scent of wildflowers and rain-soaked pine. Sitting by the flames, she traced the lines of her mother's handwriting once more, absorbing each detail, each nuance, each revelation. The candle sat on the workbench, unlit for now, a silent companion to her reflections. Jenna understood, with a depth that touched her very soul, that the scent, the memories, the objects, and the cabin itself were all interconnected, forming a network of guidance that had led her to this profound understanding of herself and her past. Hours passed, the storm gradually subsiding into a gentle drizzle. The forest outside glistened, every leaf and branch reflecting the soft light that filtered through the clouds. Jenna rose and walked to the small window, pressing her hands against the glass. She could see the path winding through the hills, the sunlight beginning to break through in soft, golden rays. The memories, once fragmented and elusive, had coalesced into a story she could now embrace fully. She had reclaimed a part of herself that had been hidden for too long, and she felt a quiet strength and resilience blooming within her. The truth in the rain had revealed not only the past she had forgotten, but also the path she would walk forward, guided by memory, love, and the enduring connection between scent and soul. A memory rewoven. The morning after the storm, the world felt new, washed clean by rain and bathed in soft golden sunlight that spilled through the forest canopy. Jenna stepped outside the cabin, breathing in the crisp, fragrant air. The ground glistened with moisture, the leaves sparkling as if each one carried a hidden gem. The scent of pine, wet earth, and wildflowers mingled in a symphony of memory and sensation, stirring something deep within her. For the first time in weeks, Jenna felt a quiet serenity, alongside the residual thrill of discovery. She had uncovered the truths hidden in her childhood, traced the echoes of her mother's care, and reconciled the fragments of her past. Yet she knew her journey was not merely about remembrance, it was about weaving these fragments into the present, allowing them to shape the woman she had become. She carried the bracelet on her wrist and the journal close to her chest, a tactile connection to the past she had reclaimed. Each step along the forest path felt deliberate and grounding. Jenna's mind drifted through the cascade of memories. The candle had revealed the laughter of her child self, echoing in the sunlight, the warmth of her mother's hands, the soft hum that had accompanied simple acts of care, and the delicate scent of wildflowers and moss. Each recollection was now vivid, coherent, and profoundly personal, stitched seamlessly into the tapestry of her being. She realized that the scent had not only unlocked memories, but had also offered a bridge to integrate them fully, to allow past and present to exist together harmoniously. As she wandered through the clearing, Jenna noticed small details she had missed before. A patch of violet wildflowers nodded in the breeze, their petals damp with dew, reminiscent of the bouquet her mother had once pressed into her tiny hands. The forest floor, rich with the smell of wet earth, bore the faint impressions of animals who had passed recently, a subtle reminder that life continued beyond the echoes of the past. Jenna knelt, brushing her fingers along the damp moss, letting the tactile sensation anchor her in the present, while honoring the memories that now flowed freely within her. She understood that to truly reweave her life, she had to engage with the physical world as much as the memory-laden spaces of her mind. Returning to the cabin, Jenna began to organize the objects she had discovered over the past days: the bracelet, the journal, the small trinkets and keepsakes tucked away in the hidden drawer. She laid them out thoughtfully on the table, allowing the sunlight to illuminate each item. The bracelet caught the light, its delicate craftsmanship reflecting warmth and memory. The journal lay open, the faded ink seeming to pulse with a quiet life of its own. Jenna ran her fingers over the papers, feeling the textures of time, the smoothness of the worn pages, and the slight roughness of the paper fibers. She allowed herself to touch, to smell, to breathe, fully present in the tangible reminders of the past she had reclaimed. Sitting by the hearth, Jenna reflected on the journey she had undertaken. The candle had been the catalyst, its scent acting as a key to unlock the hidden chambers of her memory. The cabin had been the vessel, a physical space where fragments of the past had been preserved, waiting for her to rediscover them. The journal had been the voice, giving narrative to what the candle had shown her in flashes of memory. And the storm, the rain, and wind had been the crucible, the moment that had purified her understanding, allowing the emotional truths to resonate fully. All of these elements converged, guiding her toward a profound realization. Memory and experience were not separate entities, but threads to be woven together into the fabric of life. Jenna's gaze fell upon the small window overlooking the clearing. Sunlight filtered through the trees, casting delicate patterns on the floor, and the air was filled with the subtle scent of damp earth and flowers. She could almost hear the echoes of her child's footsteps on the forest path, laughter spilling into the sunlight, a humming voice carrying through the cabin. But now, the echoes were not just memories, they were companions, integrated into her present self. She felt a surge of gratitude for the journey she had undertaken, for the patience of the past waiting to reveal itself, and for the quiet resilience that had allowed her to follow the traces of scent and vision to this point with deliberate care. Jenna took the journal in one hand and the bracelet in the other, standing in the center of the cabin. She closed her eyes and allowed the sensations to flow freely. The scent of wildflowers, moss, and rain mingled with the memory of her mother's voice, the warmth of sunlight, and the touch of the bracelet on her wrist. Each element resonated with a harmony that transcended time, connecting past and present in a single, continuous thread. Jenna felt the fullness of her childhood and her adult self coexisting, the fragments of memory no longer isolated but integrated, forming a coherent narrative of life, love, and identity. Determined to honor this newfound clarity, Jenna decided to take the next step. She would revisit the town and the places she had once known, integrating the memories with her current life. She packed her bag carefully, including the bracelet, the journal, and a small vial of the candle's fragrance she had preserved. Stepping outside, she inhaled the crisp morning air, letting the scents mingle and settle within her. The forest path stretched ahead, illuminated by sunlight glinting on raindrops, and Jenna felt the anticipation of forward motion. The journey was no longer about uncovering hidden truths alone. It was about living fully with them, allowing them to shape the choices she would make, the relationships she would nurture, and the self she would continue to grow into as she walked. Jenna encountered familiar landmark stones arranged in a small circle near the edge of the path, the curve of a fallen tree she had glimpsed in her candle visions, the faint glimmer of the stream winding through the forest. Each sight reinforced her connection to the past, grounding her in both memory and reality. The sensory details, the smell of wet earth, the sound of water over stones, the subtle rustle of leaves intertwined with her recollections, creating a rich, immersive tapestry that made the past tangible and the present alive. Jenna's footsteps were deliberate, each one an acknowledgement of continuity, a weaving together of memory, place, and identity. Reaching the stream, Jenna knelt and ran her fingers through the cool, flowing water. She watched as droplets shimmered in the sunlight, reflecting fractured light like fragments of her memories. She felt a profound connection to the rhythm of life around Hertha, water flowing, the wind stirring the leaves, the distant birdsong blending with the echoes of laughter from her childhood. The bracelet on her wrist seemed to pulse softly, a reminder of continuity and the threads of life that had persisted despite time and forgetfulness. Jenna realized that memory was not static. It was living, fluid, capable of being reinterpreted and reintegrated into her ongoing experience. After a long moment by the stream, Jenna returned to the cabin, feeling both contemplative and resolved. She placed the bracelet back on the table and reopened the journal, reading the final entries once more. Her mother's words seemed to speak directly to her present self, offering reassurance, guidance, and a quiet, enduring love. Jenna understood. Now that the candle, the cabin, the journal, and the drawer had not merely revealed her past, they had given her the tools to live fully in the present, integrating the lessons, joys, and sorrows of her childhood into her adult life. The scent that had unlocked hidden memories was no longer a trigger alone. It was a companion, a guide, and a reminder of the continuity of life. As the sun began to dip toward the horizon, casting long shadows across the forest and cabin, Jenna stepped outside once more. The air was filled with the faint fragrance of wildflowers and pine, and the warmth of the sunlight made the damp forest glisten. She closed her eyes and breathed deeply, feeling the past and present converge within her. The echoes of laughter, humming, sunlight, and love resonated no longer. Fragmented but woven into a coherent whole, Jenna felt a profound sense of peace, a recognition that the past she had reclaimed would always be a part of her, guiding her, grounding her, and inspiring her as she moved forward. The journey ahead was not defined by the mysteries she had uncovered, but by the choices she would make in the present, informed by the wisdom, love, and resilience embedded in her memories. She understood that life was a continuous weaving of moments, sensations, and experiences, and that memory was both a guide and a companion. Jenna inhaled one final time, letting the mingling scents of wildflowers, rain, and pine settle within her, and she smiled, fully aware of her own strength, her connection to her past, and the life she would continue to create. With the bracelet on her wrist, the journal in her bag, and the candle safely stored, Jenna took the first steps along the forest path leading back toward the town. Each footfall was deliberate, each breath a reaffirmation of the integration she had achieved. She carried the past with her not as a burden, but as a source of guidance, inspiration, and love. The echoes of memory would continue to resonate, not as shadows haunting her mind, but as threads woven into the fabric of her life, enriching it, deepening it, and allowing her to embrace the fullness of who she was and who she was becoming. The sun dipped lower, painting the sky in hues of amber and rose. The forest shimmered with dew, and the path stretched ahead, inviting, familiar, and transformed. Jenna walked with purpose and serenity, a sense of completion within her, yet aware that life, in its endless unfolding, would continue to present mysteries, joys, and challenges. She had reconnected with her past, reclaimed lost memories, and woven them into the present. Now, with clarity, strength, and acceptance, she was ready to step fully into the life awaiting her, carrying the scent of wildflowers, the warmth of sunlight, and the enduring love of her mother in every step she took. Thank you for spending your night with Whispers of the Night. I hope this story brought you peace, comfort, and the gentle rest you deserve. Sleep deeply, dream softly, and I'll meet you again in the next Whisper of the Night.